You ever been in a situation where you feel like somebody went ahead of you? You're like, man, how did they anticipate my need? How did they really know? You know, a good salesman and a good waiter or waitress, they'll anticipate your need. That there's an anticipation, they go ahead of you. They're ready for what is there. They're ready for that dessert menu at the end of the meal. All of those things are happening. I remember my wife and I, we spent a summer in Asia. We were on a missionary journey in Asia. We had a great time. Awesome people, wonderful people, kind people, great food. I mean, an experience of a lifetime to spend that 6 weeks in Asia. Well, we started getting like you would get when you're in a foreign country for a while and you're there and you're like, man, I feel like the Lord's leading. I'm hankering and hungry for Whataburger. You know, I just need something from home is what's happening. So we asked somebody, we say, is there any American restaurant? We love your food. Don't want to offend you. But is there any American restaurant? And they say, yes, some guy just opened one up. We don't know who he is. But he just opened one up downtown. You may like it. You may know him. I said, what's the name of it? And they said, Kenny Roger Chicken Roasters. I said, well, I don't know Kenny, but I know chicken. I'm ready to go. So we got in the taxi and we headed downtown. We got to this place right there in the heart of Asia. I opened up the doors and smelled macaroni and cheese for the first time in weeks. And it was like, an angel had rolled away the stone and was pointing me to the menu. Look and see what the Lord has done. Taste and see that the Lord is good. And we had chicken and we had cornbread and we had beans and we had corn on the cob and we had just gravy running down our face. We had napkins. We had forks. It was incredible. And we sat there and we were like, this is awesome. Right in the middle, I just chomped down on that corn on the cob. And I mean, at that moment, like almost on cue, Islands in the Stream. That is what we are. Starts playing. Kids, ask your parents. And I look on the walls and there's Dolly and Kenny and then there's Waylon Jennings. And I'm like, I'm home in Texas. This is great. This is good. It was as if somebody had said, we need a place for hungry Americans in the middle of the summer. And we loved it so much, we went back the next night. Gone before us. And let me tell you what, Jesus is better than chicken. He's got more planned for you than a menu. He's got things in your life. He's got journeys for you to be able to walk on, to walk with, to allow God to do some great things. He has gone before you. And when you and I receive the power of the cross and the resurrection, now we become followers of Christ and we walk in the places in which He's led. Let me close with more of a serious illustration of going before you. We've all been following and praying and giving, and our church has been very active in helping folks and missionaries, part of the World Mission Offering, with all that's happened with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. You've been following on the news. I've been following on the news. We prayed for it. It's terrible. It's evil. It's something we just like, I talked to one of the heads of one of our mission agencies. I said, how's it going with the missionaries in Ukraine? They said, Greg, it's been heartbreaking, but God's been going before them. What we've had to do is we've had to call out and pull out all the missionaries from the Ukraine and to move them to the surrounding countries that are there for their safety. So imagine you've given your life, you've prayed, you've sought, you've fasted. Your church, as our church does and many other churches, has sent you out. You've learned the language. Your kids have moved into some house or apartment somewhere in Ukraine. You've been waiting. You're ready to go. And now here is your moment. You've been there for a good while or just a short time, and Russia starts invading, and you've got to leave your sheep and go to another country on the borders. So these missionaries, heartbroken, they're like, we want to stay. We don't want to leave them at their deepest time of need. We want to stay. And the missionary agency says, we got to send you out. We got to get you out for safety reasons. We got to move you to the borders. So they move them to the borders of the surrounding countries. The missionaries get there. The churches at the surrounding countries welcome them, and they begin to develop a relationship. And so they're talking. So now the missionaries are embedded in these churches around the border. And then sure enough, what happens? You watched it happen. Refugees from the Ukraine begin to head to the surrounding borders. And who is standing there but the missionaries that had been sent out weeks before, because God knew and prepared and sent them out going forward so these refugees would be received by people speaking their tongues, native tongue, talking about Jesus as the Savior and the gospel, and the churches would be ready. Do you see God, even in the midst of evil and tragedy and chaos, going before? Hey, thanks for watching. To find out more about Houston's First, you can subscribe to our channel or you can go to houstonsfirst.org.